Hi all, welcome back to Eco, the skill provider. So what basically I'm looking for to improve your communication. And believe me, apart from tense, time, collocations, there are so many parameters you have to stick before you can be a fluent speaker. So believe me, the foremost things that you're supposed to adhere to, that is called building of your vocabs. So vocabulary is very important, right? So in the previous session, I taught you something called binomials. It was part one. And let's focus on binomials today. Because, you'll be very surprised to know that why I'm focusing on binomials, idioms, whenever very simple terms are there. Just like, let me give an example, loud and clear. It's just like some clarity. You can say, sir, I can use this something called clarity. But why you are forcing us or why you are suggesting us that I should use or loud and clear? ତମ କହିବାର ଉଦ୍ଦେଶ୍ୟ ହଉଛି for the benefit of the others like who have joined recently with us ଯେ ଆମେ ଯୋଉ word ଗୁଡା binomials use କରୁଛନ୍ତି what are the words or binomials right we have been using ତ ସେଇଥିରେ କଣ ଅଛି like we have there are so many things are there but you can use some simpler terms simple terms ଆପଣ use କରିପାରିଥାନ୍ତି but what is the need of this uh, loud and clear something called it's no man's land like that so many I mean binomials are there so why I'm pushing you or I'm suggesting you to use that so କଣ ପାଇଁ ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କୁ କହୁଛି believe me the moment you say it is very clear it's called ordinary English that normally native speaker do not speak. They don't speak like this. You feel like that the way you are speaking they are speaking the same way forget about accent accent will be different even ଆମେ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ କହୁଛେ ଆପଣ ବ୍ରହ୍ମପୁରରେ ଯାଆନ୍ତୁ ଓଡ଼ିଆ ଶୁଣିବେ ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର ଓଡ଼ିଆ ଶୁଣିବେ difference ଯାଜପୁରରେ ଓଡ଼ିଆ ଭଦ୍ରକ ଓଡ଼ିଆ ଏବଂ ଖୋର୍ଦ୍ଧା ଓଡ଼ିଆ ଭିତରେ difference ରହେ so that is something called accent କି କେମିତି ୟୁଜ କରୁଛୁ ୱାର୍ଡ ତ ଆମେ accent କଥା ଏଠି କହୁନାହାନ୍ତି ଆପଣ believe me ଯଦି ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ମୁଭି ଦେଖିବେ ଯଦି actually ଇଂଲିଶ ଆପଣ ବୁଝିଛନ୍ତି ତାହେଲେ ଆରାମସେ ବୁଝିପାରିବେ accent is problem କାହିଁକି ନା ସେ ଯୋଉ ଗୋଟେ ୱାର୍ଡ ଆପଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି college college that is called accent ସେ part ଟାକୁ ଛାଡି ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ we are talking about other part like we have apart from accent we have tense and time collocation hookups these things are also there and the last one is called accent you can improve it based on practice so why I'm forcing you guys or why I'm suggesting you to use it very frequently because it gives a natural feelings whenever you say anything using binomials, idioms, phrasal verbs, then means you become a gifted speaker. You become something called a natural speaker. So I want you should speak naturally. There is something called natural process is there. ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କହିଥିଲି like lot of things I will inform you also. Suppose ଆପଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ମୁଁ ଟିକେ ବ୍ୟସ୍ତ ଅଛି ମୁଁ ଟିକେ ପରେ କଥା ତ ଏଇଟା ଆପଣ ଯଦି actually translation ହଉ କିମ୍ବା ଆପଣ ଇଂଲିଶ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି କହିବେ I am busy. Anybody ask 99%. I am busy. I'll talk to you after some. That's the normal thing. But if you really speak just like a native speaker, they will tell in different way. I am tired of it. I am tired of. ତ ଆପଣ କହିବେ ସାର୍ ମୁଁ କାହିଁ tired of ଫାଲତୁଟାରେ ୟୁଜ କରିବି ମୁଁ ତ ଜାଣିଛି I am very busy ବୋଲି ତ ମୁଁ tired of କଣ ପାଇଁ ୟୁଜ କରିବି sir you are not speaking you are not learning English to speak in Oriya speak in Odisha ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ଆପଣ ବା ଆପଣ ସାଙ୍ଗମାନଙ୍କ ସହିତ କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତା ପାଇଁ ଇଂଲିଶ ଶିଖୁନାହାନ୍ତି ଆପଣ ଇଂଲିଶ ଏଥିପାଇଁ ଶିଖୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଦକ୍ଷତା ବୃଦ୍ଧି ପାଇବ and ଆପଣ ପୃଥିବୀର ଯେକୌଣସି ଲୋକ ସହିତ ଇଂଲିଶରେ କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତା ହେଇପାରିବେ so learn the standard English and whatever I'm teaching going to teach you or already taught that is called standard English standard English ମାନେ ବୁଝିପାରୁଛନ୍ତି you can use anywhere in the world you go anywhere I challenge you sir to everybody you can speak the same and everybody can understand କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମେ ଆଗରୁ କିଛି କିଛି ଭାଷା ମୁଁ ଛୋଟ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ କହିବି ଆମେ କହୁଛେ ବ୍ରିଞ୍ଜାଲ ସମସ୍ତେ କହିବେ ଆଜ୍ଞା ବାଇଗଣ କିନ୍ତୁ believe me Brinjal आपण जानतो अमेरिकन अलगा कंट्री गुडा brinjal what's that brinjal what eggplant oh so I don't use brinjal I say eggplant why because we are learning English we are not learning Indian English we have to learn like the as a native speaker so I don't want to waste your time today because I have already informed you something called binomials binomials are irreversible like ମାନେ ସେଟା ଚେଞ୍ଜ କରିପାରିବେନି pattern and something it adds beauty to your spoken English. And the third thing is that you become a natural speaker. Let's try to. This is the second part. Part one. Yesterday I have given you a lot of things, but today I am going to teach you some extra things. So another 10 binomials. Okay. So what are these? Let's try to learn it. Okay. Very interesting. I request everybody please give a that much of attention. So we are learning binomial part 2. This is something called binomial path. Okay. So this is my first one. Check it out. By leaps and bounds. First try to understand. देखो ये हमारा problem कौन होची? आमे ता अर्थटा जानिया पे बेसी बैग्रो. जे कोनसी आमे इंग्लिश पढ़ला समय आमे ता ओडिया अर्थ हो बा इंग्लिश रो अर्थटा आमे बुझी जाउ. बट आपण यूजेस टा की करी? अर्थ जानिबा दरकार नै सर. आपण यूजेस केमति करूम सेटा सिखो. बिकज जेतले आपण इंग्लिश कहउछंती आपण अर्थ जानि कि इंग्लिश कहउनांती. आपण यूजेस ऊपर इंग्लिश कहउछन. फॉर एग्जांपल मु कहबी जे लीव्स एंड बाउंड तो तार अर्थ ला वेरी क्विकली माने शीघ्र ता माने कोन आपण कहबे कम लीव्स एंड बाउंड कैन यू से वेरी क्विकली आपण गोटे लोक को कहबे देखंतु एठी मु आपण कहउची आपण पूरा मु ओडिया रे किछ कहउची काहे कि ना आपण को पूरा टच करिवो आपण जेहेतु ओडिया पिला मु मध्ये ओडिया पिला मु ओडिया रे किछ कहले आपण बुझी परिबे करेक्ट leaps and bounds the meaning होची very quickly you take out 100 dictionaries google search करंतु एई वर्ड टी पाइबे leaps and bounds आपण सर्च करिवे once the class is over very quickly यथा शीघ्र शीघ्र क्विकली माने शीघ्र हमें कहउछ तो मु आपण कहबी जे सर एक्चुअली आपण आसंतु आपण जल्दी आसंतु सपोज अशोक सर को मु कहबी सर कम जल्दी टिके आसंतु तो मु कहि परिबी कि प्रकाश सर को बा अशोक सर को प्लीज कम लिप्स एंड बाउंड कहते तो आपण तो सर वेरी क्विकली अछि ना नो यू आर फोकसिंग ऑन वन पार्ट whenever you are trying to learn English try to focus on two part very important what I am going to tell you today one is called the meaning and the second is called the uses the meaning सहित केमती यूज करी मन रखितांतु leaps and bound I mean it's called very quickly fast means very quickly come fast तबन आपण कोन कहउछ जल्दी आसे पे तो leaps and bound कोठे व्यवहार करिवे whenever it refers to progress very important observation when something refers to progress what is progress उन्नति होबा कोथरे उन्नति होबा आपण को लाइफ रो उन्नति हो बिजनेस रो उन्नति हो पढ़ा रे उन्नति हो आपण रिलेशनशिप रे उन्नति हो आपण को जॉब रे उन्नति हो आपण का तनखा मनी रे उन्नति हो चौथे उन्नति उन्नति it's all about the progress so remember leaps and bound the meaning is very quickly but it is used with progress not any other thing तो आपण मन रखितांतु जेतले आपण गोटे कोनसी वर्ड अर्थ चाहूचंती ताकू केमती यूज करा जाय सेटा भी सिखन खाली अर्थटा जानले हजार भूल हो so this is all about I already inform you in Oriya so that you can easily understand so let's me talk something about leaps and bound and before that a preposition by is used by default आपण को से by न लगी on हबनी by leaps and bound so since I am going to explain you leaps and bound I put it in a bracket like by term bracket I keep it in the bracket okay so what do you mean by big I mean leaps and bound very quickly the company is growing leaps and bound obviously company unnati hochi the consumption of alcohol is going up by leaps and bound new year asigala निश्चय liquor ro point besi boduchi so like that you can easily understand marketplace everywhere you will go people are going for feast and get together they take liquor so it is coming up boosting is going on. Okay. So what you can understand, whenever something goes on in progression, there is a progress. Suppose you can say, my sister has done it in his study by leaps and bounds. Yeah, you can. I got a problem. Whenever there is something called exceptional growth, whenever it is called exponential growth, whenever you say called massive growth, so that is called leaps and bounds, not any other thing. ଯଦି ଆପଣ କହିବେ very quickly ମାନେ ଆପଣ ମନେକର ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଛୁଆକୁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଜଲ୍ଦି ଟିକେ ଖାଇଦେ, can you say like that, please eat leaps and bounds? No, never. Leaps and bounds ଟା କେବଳ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରେସ, ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରେସ କରନ୍ତି ବା କୌଣସି ଉନ୍ନତି କରନ୍ତି ଯେକୌଣସି କାର୍ଯ୍ୟରେ, whether it is sales, business, anything like that. So in that particular sense, you can use leaps and bounds. I have given two examples. Let me complete everything, then I'll complete. So what I inform you or what I suggest you to everybody, please try to understand the uses part. Don't look for the meaning only. जोटा कि आपनको क्षेत्र में देखुची ता मीनिंग टा कोन हो ओवर तो मीनिंग टा देखि आप लिप्स एंड बाउंड यूज कर जल्दी आसो तो कैन यू से कम लिप्स एंड बाउंड, it doesn't have any meaning at all. Yes, you can say something is growing leaps and bounds. खूब अल्प समय मध्यरे अधिक जेतले उन्नति हो जाए ताको आमे कहूचे बाय leaps and bounds. Anything and everything. Suppose आपन बिजनेस भलो होची, you can say my company is growing leaps and bounds. You can say my salary has increased leaps and bounds. You can say like our economy is increasing leaps and bounds. Like that, so many things where there is a progress. That in particular situation, you are supposed to use leaps and bounds. So two things are very important. One is the meaning, and the second thing is the uses. ताको केमि यूज करियो, that is also more important. आमे केवल meaning ऊपर फोकस करछन, and that's one of the biggest mistake. Please don't repeat that. Right now, let me give you the second one. First and foremost, more than anything else, most importantly, देखंतु, there is a difference between first and foremost. आपण के first का जो कामटा करिबा, what is more important, what is the most important thing, आपण सेटा प्रथम करन. Okay, so you can say, in order to speak English, the first and foremost things that you are supposed to do is to take a lot of practice. So it is first and foremost mane kono, that is the most important things you are supposed to do. Important, more important, most important, superlative. Suppose मु जदि आपन कहबी खाद्य वस्त्र बासगृह आपन कोटा दरकार, फर्स्ट यू से कोटे कहबी व्हाट इज द मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट थिंग फॉर लाइफ. मु जदि आपन पचारि आपन काहा को बहुत भल पानी, obviously it is what the most you like them, you like the most. So the most importantly, what do you mean by that? Whenever I say most importantly, that means you are supposed to do the first. That's the first things you are supposed to, right? Suppose आपन को छुआ एग्जाम दवा पई जाउची, आपन ता कोन कोछि आगो क्वेश्चन ता पढि. Always start it with a cool mind before answering it. So that is something called the first and foremost things you are supposed to do in the exam is to study the paper or read the paper carefully. जेमति आपण छोटो छुआ को सिखौछन जेतले गेस्ट को देखिबो प्रथमे नमस्कार करी. You can say the first and foremost things you are supposed to do whenever you meet a guest is to convey your regards. आपण जेतले आमे छोटो पिला थिले मामा आसी कहउथिले तब सेमते खाया को दिया जीवन हाथ धोई के आस. Okay, the first and foremost things whenever you come to your home from school to eat food, you are supposed to wash your hand. So do you understand the meaning? First and foremost, most importantly, this is you are supposed to do the first thing. And आपण मते पचारिबे सर मु कहीं फर्स्टली यूज करि परिबि नेति, secondly यूज करि परिबि. That's the difference I already informed you. I was telling the same thing yesterday also. मु कहबा कथा होची आपण फर्स्टली यूज करि परिबे, आपण एठे मध्ये यूज करि परिबे. Look, the company is growing very quickly, the company is growing very fast. किंतु आपण once you log out from this session, आपण जाय कि निजुग निजे कोंतु the company is growing leaps and bounds, the company is growing very quickly. कोटा भल लागबो आपण 100% आपण को लागबो leaps and bounds. That's the meaning. I just want to make you a refined product. आपण very quickly लगेले भूल हबनी सर, try to understand me. आपण भाबुथिबे किछि भूल कहि दउछि आपन को आपण टेंशन नबा नै you can use the same things. Firstly, you can use also in the second sentence. Firstly, to speak English, you have to do like this. But this is very ordinary English, my friends. We don't need ordinary English. We need something called, what do you need? You need something called native speaker, the way they speak. This is the standard English we are learning. Okay. In spite of being elected to office, she remains the first and foremost as a writer. Somebody say, suppose take the example of Achyut Samant. He is the founder of KIT. He is an MP also. किंतु आपण देखिबे ताकर एमपी काम अपेक्षा से बेसी एजुकेशन ऊपर फोकस करते बिकॉज़ ही एजुकेशनिस्ट यू कैन से इन स्पाइट ऑफ बीइंग इलेक्टेड टू द पार्लियामेंट like Mr. Achyut Samant like first and foremost thing is that how to run an institution. So what I mean to say? I mean to say that obviously that he is addicted because he is an educationist. He is an educationist like you and right. So this is something called the first one. So let me go to the second. Law and order. Law and order. It's also a question. आपण सदाळे एटा यूज करछन. There is a law and order issue in Jammu and Kashmir. आपण सुनिथिबे the law and order issue can be tackled with army, with the help of army, or 5 platoons of police have been deployed to tackle the law and order situation. What do you mean law and order? आपण सुनिथिबे law and order issue होइजिवो. What is law and order? आपण यूज करछन्ती ओडिया रे यूज कर दोछन केतो. But what is the exact meaning? A situation in which the law is obeyed. This is a situation. Suppose we are living in a place. We are supposed to obey the law of the land. So that is called law and order. Check it out. During election, the law and order should be maintained. Whenever there is a strike, whenever there is a hartal, or you can say whenever there is a problem, that time it becomes a law and order issue for the police personnel because they face a lot of problems. So law and order means a situation where something the law should be respected, should be obeyed. Okay. Fourth one, every now and then. देखो तो कहते माने small good example लेइछि मो. Sometimes not regularly or frequently. जो कामटा आपण केबे केबे करिछन सब समय रे करन. Most frequently you are not doing that. तो आपण तो आराम से यूज करि परंते ना. Sometimes I sometimes go to temple. किंतु मु सेई जगह रे कोन कहबी I go to market every now and then. I go to temple every now and then. I go to college every now and then. That's the beauty of spoken English. That is the beauty of spoken English. Anybody can use sometimes, not regularly, frequently, but you are not using that. You are using something called every now and then. Sometimes, not frequently. Okay. So we are supposed to use this. Null and void. This is a very good term. You can find basically in legal term. आपण केतले पढिथिबे गोटे लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट बा आपण का सहित गोटे लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट रे जाउछंती निश्चय गोटे पॉइंट लिखा हितबो इफ यू आर सपोज्ड टू डू लाइक दिस द डॉक्यूमेंट स्टैंड्स null and void. The documents, the points or the agreement stands null and void. Null and void माने having no validity. Having no validity. धरंतु आपण जणक सहित गोटे रेंट एग्रीमेंट करछ. Very classic example. आपण मानकर भुवनेश्वर रहउछंती, कटक रहउछंती बा कोन से टाउन एरिया रहउछंती. तो आपण जानछंती to stay in as a rent somewhere else. You are supposed to make an agreement with the landlord and you become the tenant. Suppose आपण को घरे मु भडा कोछि तो आपण होछंती landlord. You are called the landlord and I am called the tenant. So what exactly I want? The tenant रो काम होछि गोटे एग्रीमेंट करियो. एग्रीमेंट वर्षे 2 वर्ष 3 वर्ष 4 वर्ष पे करा जायते. जदि आपण आ एग्रीमेंट करू नाहंती, इफ यू आर नॉट डूइंग एग्रीमेंट, देन जो पुराना एग्रीमेंट ता थिबो जदि आपण कोठे देखेबे सेटा इट स्टैंड्स null and void. इट शुड बी रिन्यूड. पुराना डॉक्यूमेंट 2021 मसिया रो डॉक्यूमेंट आपण कहबे 2022 एटा काम करू और यू आर अप्लाइंग फॉर ए लोन आपण पचेरी आपण कोठ रहउछंती ना मो से एक्स जगह रहउछ तो ठीक अछि आपण एग्रीमेंट ता दियौ कोठ रहउछ आपन गोटे पुराना एग्रीमेंट देबे, he'll say sir it's not valid, right? So that particular thing it's called null and void, not valid, having no legal face or legal force. The change in the law makes in the previous agreement, you know, the change in the law makes the previous agreement null and void. बर्तमान जो लॉ चेंज हो गला गोटे एग्जांपल देछि तो बर्तमान प्रीवियस जो एग्रीमेंट करथिले दैट बिकम्स नल एंड वॉइड द इलेक्शन वाज डिक्लेयर्ड नल एंड वॉइड बहुत माल प्रैक्टिस हो गला आपण देखिथिबे किछ किछ जगह रे इलेक्शन कमिशन को करंती ना इलेक्शन टा पूरा बातिल कर दे ना जहां अछि पुणे री इलेक्शन करिया पे कोन री इलेक्शन व्हाई बिकॉज़ द because the previous election loses its legal status तो जेतेले कोनसी गोटे जिंस आपनकर लीगली वैलिड हे परिबनी यू कैन कॉल इट नॉन अल्फाइड सपोज आपनकर गोटे अकाउंट माने अछि आपण 5 वर्ष 10 वर्ष धरि कि ताको चलेबे इट बिकम्स ना समथिंग नॉन अल्फाइड so there are so many examples you can take and these are the words you can use very specifically and this is something called a legal term this is a legal term but as a english learner you are supposed to know it आपण जानिया पे पड़ी okay the next one something called cut and dry देखो मु गोटे सिचुएशन एठी क्रिएट करछि आपन पई आपण जेतले जनक पाखरु किछि प्रतिश्रुति पाया पे चाहउछंती बा जे कोनसी तो आपण कोन चाहउछंती भाई मते जा के पूरा पूरा स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड कथा आपण कहउछ whether you are trying to purchase something or आपण डिसीजन सुनुछंती जोटा के आपण ठीक लागु तो आपण चाहउछंती क्लियर कट डिसीजन the clear cut decision is called cut and dry clear simple without any uncertainty or ambiguity ambiguous lot of doubts unambiguity no doubt so basically आपण जे कोन छोडे जिंस करछन whatever the things you are doing suppose mu कहि sir how was the study today it was cut and dry sir that means everything was clear तो आपण कहि sir मु तो क्लियर बोली जानि छी मु तो जानि छी ओके बोली आई गॉट इट बोली जानि छी सर मु काई कट एंड ड्राई दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम विथ योर माइंडसेट आमे भाबु छथि एति हमर होकास हे गेला आमे पढि देबा जदि एई भले लैंग्वेज रे आपन को जने कहिबा आपन केनते बुझिबी आर यू गोइंग टू ओपन द डिक्शनरी देन व्हाई कांट यू लर्न इट एंड आपन भाबतु आई विल गिव यू ओनली 50 मु एबे एटा मिसे देले 20 टा दे देबी आउ 30 टा दे ओवर बाइनोमियल्स ओवर आपन को लाइफ पे नॉट फॉर दिस सेशन आपन जीवन रे आउ के भी 50 टन 60 टा यूज करिवे 50 बाइनोमियल्स आर देयर दैट फ्रीक्वेंट यूज एटा फ्रीक्वेंट यूज हो सर there are so many things you can find a books also but what is more important I am going to give you something that you can use it daily basis so something called cut and dry means very simple clear and without any ambiguity or uncertainty unfortunately there is no cut and dry solution for this problem we need a cut and dry decision by end of this week आपण कहउछन सेटा क्लियर कट मते क्लियर कट डिसीजन सुना मते पूरा ठीक डिसीजन सुना so that is something called cut and dry that is a binomial and the meaning clear simple without any ambiguity or uncertainty okay black and blue it's a medical term आपण देखिथिबे सर छुआंकर भी आपण करे तले गाड़ी फेटु केतले पड़ी जाइथिबे सेटा टिके माने इंजुरी हे जाय खंडिया हे जाय तापरे सेटा गोटे कळा पड़ी जाय माने घाट जेतला में वेंटा सुखिला तो सेटा को एक्चुअली को ब्लैक एंड ब्लू that is a medical term okay आपण देखिथिबे केतले why I am using all the things so that you will not face any problems in future skin basically skin है देखा जाए and have dark marks as a result of injury आपण के इंजुरी मार्क हे जाए so obviously ताको सुखिला समय रे आपण टिके डार्क हे जाए so that is called black and blue okay the fall left or leg all left and blue माने से गोटे जागा रो पड़ी जाइथिले and सेति पई गोटे इंजर्ड हे जाइथिला आ तांको गोडो सारा man black spot that is something called black and okay this is only you supposed to remember you are not using it every day and 8 is my favorite and also your favorite heart and sound look it can be used in two different ways one is something called American English something called British English रे देखो तो put heart and sound use करो ता पूर्व गोटे वर्ड लगन से put but American रे only heart and sound they can easily heart and sound and something called put heart and soul. In India or any part of the world, basically nobody use heart and soul. Everybody use put heart and soul. So our focus is on how to use put heart and soul in different situations. ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ପାଞ୍ଚଟା situation create କରିବି. So first try to understand the meaning. Heart and soul means enthusiastically. What is enthusiastically? Enthusiasm, ଆଗ୍ରହ, ପ୍ରଚୁର ଆଗ୍ରହ, ପ୍ରବଳ ଆଗ୍ରହ ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ କହୁ। ତ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଯୋଉଥିରେ ପ୍ରବଳ ଆଗ୍ରହ ଅଛି, so obviously you improve in that particular. ଆପଣ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଗୋଟେ ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସ ଶୋ ହଉ, and I am a dancer. ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ତା ଉପରକୁ ଯାଉଛି ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସ କରିବା ପାଇଁ, obviously I am really enthusiastic. ସେତେ ଗୋଟେ ଆଗ୍ରହ ମୋର ଅଛି ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସ କରିବା ପାଇଁ। I am a singer. ଆପଣ ଦେଖୁଥିବେ I am a mentor, I am a spoken English trainer. So whenever I come to meet you, obviously bearing few 4 or 5 days in a month. In other times I'm always energetic. Why? Because I have that much of interest. I am really enthusiastic. So that is something called enthusiasm. Enthusiasm ମାନେ ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ ଆଗ୍ରହ କହୁଛୁ. Okay. That is interest. Sir, I want to underline interest. So a better form is called enthusiasm. You should have that much of enthusiasm to study anything. Normal word, this is called advanced vocabs. Enthusiasm and little bit, this is something called, it is raining heavily. Normal. It is lasting, yeah. It lasting. My boss scolded me. My boss roasted me. My boss roasted me. Advanced speaker, native speaker. And we say, my boss scolded me. Like that. So try to understand two forms of English is there. So once these things over, I'll be putting you in the advanced mode. It may take say 5 months, 6 months, doesn't matter. If you are with me, you will be put in the advanced mode. So obviously you are supposed to know some extra things. Okay. So let's come to heart and soul. Heart and soul means whenever you do something enthusiastically, agroh saito, with that much of interest. Look, they entered heart and soul into the dance floor. That is called American English. But look, British English, put heart and soul. It ଆପଣ ସଦାବେଳେ ୟୁଜ କରନ୍ତି. ୟୁଜ ଏଭ୍ରି ଟାଇମ୍. ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଛୁଆଙ୍କୁ ଆପଣ କୁହନ୍ତି ବା ଯେକୌଣସି ଲୋକ ଯଦି ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଆଗ୍ରହ ଥିବ ଆପଣ ସେଇଥିରେ ଭଲ କାମ କରିବେ। ତ ଆଗ୍ରହ ଦିଅ, ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟ ଦିଅ। How can you say like this? Put interest? Put interest? No. Put heart and soul. He is a committed man. He puts his heart and soul into everything he does. Not you does, he does. Type error ହେଇଛି. So I am supposed to write it, he does. Suppose I can say that look, spoken English is just like not rocket science. If you put your heart and soul, you can easily speak English. You can tell your friends, or you can say your friends, like, don't bogged down by negative thoughts. If you put your heart and soul into a business, it will blossom. You can advise your son and daughter. Look, your exam is around the corner. I want you should be an IAS officer, or I want you to be successful. You have to secure good mark. So you have to put your heart and soul if you want to be successful in the future. So put heart and soul means the same things. You have to do everything with that much of interest. जान लगे देवा आपण कहउछन्ती देखो पूरा जीवन को बाजी लगे दियो मैट्रिक परीक्षा पाई गलानी प्लस 2 परीक्षा पाई गलानी बा तमरो ଗୋଟେ एग्जाम अछि जीवन को बाजी लगे दियो that means put your heart and soul into something. So that's why he put his heart and soul everything he does. You have to put your heart and soul into your study. You have to put your heart and soul into your spoken English. That means you have to be more enthusiastically, or enthusiasm should be displayed every year of your cycle of learning, right? So this is something called put heart and soul. And this is my last one. This is something called prime and proper. Very interesting things. Prime and proper. So आपण भाबुथि एटा केमति यूज हो कहि यूज पार्ट हम अधिक देखिबा. Forget about having any traditional or having conservative beliefs and behavior. देखो आपण को लाइफ रे बा आपण को निज घरे जो माने वृद्ध होई गेलनी वृद्ध माने जेजे आपा हो जेजे मा जो माने आपण मान जे थिबे they always believe in the traditional thing. Very traditional. आपण ता चेंज कर देबी. You know very well. Okay. They are very conservative mindset. तो आपण कहबे सर कंजर्वेटिव माइंडसेट कोन रक्षणशील परिवार रो जो माइंडसेट तो आपण बुझी पर मान जने मुटे बुझे दउची दिस एग्जांपल इज वेरी जस्ट लाइक वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग देखंतु आमे देखिछंती हम घरे लाइक आपण माने भी मैरिज करथिबे आपन को बापा आपन को स्त्री केबे गुटे जगह रे डांस करि परिबे आमे एते माने एक कथा सुनिला पर हमको खराब लागु किंतु व्हाट अबाउट अभिषेक बच्चन हिज वाइफ एंड हिज फादर आमे जानते ऐश्वर्या राय एंड अमिताभ बच्चन से डांस करछन एंड पीपल एंजॉय एंड हिज सन इज आल्सो एंजॉय so that is something called liberal mindset conservative mindset we have a conservative रक्षणशील परिवार conservative belief and that is something called other belief right so prime and proper means having very traditional having conservative belief and behavior I have never seen such a person like Rahul before who is so prime and proper so prime and proper means whenever a person who is very traditional who is very conservative right in his belief system or in the behavior whatever it is. So that is something called you cannot change them very conservative traditionally ସେମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ କରି ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି they are supposed to do so that is something called they are called conservative mindset and you can say prime and proper oh my friend oh my god my grandfather just like prime and proper what do you mean by that very traditional he doesn't wish to change himself right aches and pains aches and pains minor pains and discomforts sometimes what happens throughout the day ଆପଣ କାମ କରି କରି ଆସିଛନ୍ତି तो आपको बहुत खराब लगुथो देह हाथ बहुत पीड़ा लगुथो राइट इन दैट पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन अपन कौन कहिबे आई फील पेन इन माय एंटायर बॉडी राइट दैट्स नॉट द राइट इंग्लिश मैन हाउ कैन यू से आई फील aches and pains after tedious and tiring day I feel aches and pains. Like you have pains everywhere in your body. Suppose it was is games or sports. You are a school teacher, or sometimes you have gone for a long journey, and get together is happening. Suppose you have gone since morning and you are hitting your home in the evening. So throughout the day you will be busy. It is very tiring for you. So you can say I feel aches and pains after tedious. Tedious means very labors. बहुत काम करते हैं and tiring day. It's entirely tiring. Sorry, tiring. Okay. So I've given you the example of tired and tiring. It's a tiring day. Ing for noun. Tired. You are telling boring, like that. Okay. So this comes on under adjective. So that is something called written communication. We are not going to discuss here. What I mean to say, I feel aches and pains after a tedious and tiring day. So this is all about what you can understand from here. आपण एतिକି ବୁଝିପାରିଲେ ଯେ actually it is very important and crucial for you to use this kind of vocabs देखो एड़ा होची vocabs एड़ा का मैं आपनकर vocabulary building up करछु काली आपन 11 टा देथिले I have given 11 something like that today is 10 so it is many about 20 plus is there with so that is something called vocabs आपण देखिए केतोडा vocabs मु देछि आपण जे सब कैलकुलेट करिवे it crosses almost 400 500 plus vocabs you have already got. But the very important part is that, and the sad part is that you guys are not using it. I don't know why. That's the only problem. Otherwise, I have given you a lot of things. Right now, it's time for you to ask me any questions you wish to ask. Ask me. You have any question?